I love you so much. You are truly the angel of the battlefield. Clara Barton is like, you done called me that already. Come up with some new shit.
Hello. Today, we're going to talk about the day that the king met Nixon. My favorite story of all time is Elvis was out in LA and they were at a dinner, and the people he was with were like, hey, that guy over there is huge in the voiceover animation world, but he is a federally licensed narcotics officer. It's the ultimate badge. You can do anything with it. You can pull over any car, anything in the world, and Elvis becomes obsessed. He walks up to the guy, introduces himself. Guy shows his badge. I am the guy. I can arrest everyone in here right now. And suddenly Elvis is like, I have to have that badge. I need that badge. How can this guy, if he has a badge, Mr. Do the crazy funny woodcock voice? No, I can do it. It drove him nuts. Going to Washington, this badge is fucking happening. Let's go. Elvis writes a letter to Nixon while on the plane. They land and he drops it off at the front of the White House. It was shocking. No celebrities want to hang out with Nixon. So when he reached out, they're like, Elvis wants to meet with you. This can't hurt matters. Don't you want to see what Elvis has to say? Why not? He's like, yeah, arrange it. Yeah, I want to meet him. Let's see what's going on. And Elvis comes in. And Nixon looks at him and is like, I was crazy, man. You dress really crazy, man. He's like, hey, you have your get up, I have mine. Okay? Nixon's like, yeah, I'm glad you came by. I want to meet you. Good to see you. And Elvis does the hard sell, saying he needs the badge. Well, I care, man. I care about what's going on with these people, and I care about the hippies and everything that's being said right now, man. It's terrifying. People that are saying things about you, and the people that are saying things about me. And that's why I'm happy to be here, man. But I need this badge. This is so big for me. I need it. And Nixon really takes it in, kind of asks his aide. He's like, can we do this? And the aide comes back and says, I'm sorry, it's done. Cannot get this badge. Sorry, Mr. Presley, you cannot. You have no qualifications in our mind to have this badge. Sorry, brother. I'm loving it. And Nixon decides to give him this badge. So Elvis goes back to get photos taken, but then Elvis is a licensed and registered federal narcotics agent. So Elvis had police lights would pull people over. Do you have any idea how fast you're going? Another time, he saw this crazy lunatic guy. The guy was allowed inside. And everyone's like, why is this crazy person being allowed inside? He's like, no. He's all right, man. He's okay. He's part of this team. We're gonna work with him, man. He's funny. And then Elvis liked him, loved him, and then got tired of it. So he said he had to go home. So Elvis is gonna pay for his flight home. Come back, some jewelry's missing. So they figured out this guy had stolen some jewelry. Elvis freaks out. He's gonna regret the day he stole that jewelry, man. He messed with the wrong guy. The guy was about to take off, and then he sees Elvis running next to it in a jumpsuit, holding a real federal narcotics badge. So the plane stops, they pull the guy out. Elvis pulled the plane over to pull this guy off and interrogate him, of which Elvis had a couple random questions. Where'd you get the jewelry, man? And he just cried and said, I got the jewelry here, I'm so sorry. You shouldn't have taken that, but you're all right. So we're good, man. Gives him like $200 and then buys him an air ticket out. And you know, everything's just a little bit safer in that part of Memphis. You feel it? Hey, do you feel it? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Hey everyone, my name is Amber Ruffin, and I'm gonna talk to you today about the angel of the battlefield, Clara Barton. Okay, our story begins during the Civil War. It's got fatalities, people are, I'm cussing so bad.
It's okay.
Okay. So the Union Army's surgeon, Dr. James Dunn, was like, hey dudes, this is some bullshit. We are low on antiseptic We are low on bandages. We do not have the supplies to handle the amount of bloodshed. Okay. Meanwhile, a teacher, Clara Barton, is like, I will worry about the soldiers of the Union Army. Hello, government, we need more medical supplies. Can you help me help your f***ing soldiers? And the government is like, no. And she's like, you know what? Your bitch ass needs to come correct. They're like, we will not come correct. Oh no, I spelled it. I'm sorry, I'm yelling. Oh my gosh, I'm also sorry for being sorry, because who does that help? No one. Ah! Okay, so she asked the Ladies Aid Society, send me medical supplies and I will bring them to the front lines. Meanwhile, in Sharpsburg, Maryland, the Confederate General Robert E. Lee was like, it is September 17th, 1862. And that's when the Battle of Antietam began. The Battle of Antietam! Ba-ba-boo! The Battle of Antietam was the bloodiest single-day battle in American history. So James Dunn is like, we are grossly underprepared. And it's at that exact moment that in bursts Clara Barton with a train of wagons filled with supplies. And she's like, watch out everybody, cause the Union is coming. Yes, I could. You're welcome, everybody. I brought your ass everything you need. Dr. James Dunn is like, I need antiseptic. She's like, I got that shit. He's like, do you have bandages? She's like, yeah, bitch, I got bandages. He's like, what we need is normal shit like socks and food. And she's like, you know what? Abracadabra, bitch. And he's like, oh my God, you are the angel of the battlefield. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. She's like, stop thanking me. I have work to do. She starts working on wounded soldiers with no experience whatsoever. And at that moment, a bullet pierces her sleeve. And she's like, do you see this shit, dude? And the guy is like, I don't see that shit because I'm dead. Because the bullet that pierced her sleeve killed the very guy she was saving. So she's like, this sucks, but I am going to move on to the next thing. And move on to the next thing she does. And at the end of the day, Dr. James Dunn is sitting by himself in a dark barn. Clara Barton is like, Dr. Dunn, what the are you doing? He's like, I am depressed. Night has fallen. I can't see shit. Hundreds of soldiers will die. Clara Barton is like, bitch, don't you know? She grabs him by the hand. She takes him to another barn. And this barn is lit with lanterns. She's like, you think I brought your ass socks, but I didn't bring you lanterns to light your surgeries? What the is wrong with you? And he's like, I love you so much. You are truly the angel of the battlefield. Clara Barton is like, you done called me that already. Come up with some new shit. She doesn't burp, but I wish she did, so that I could also burp. She's like, Amber, if you feel like burping, you can burp. And I'm like, I'm darker than you think. She's like, you're very dark. And I'm like, I am. Okay, so that's the end of the war. And everyone is like, Clara Barton, you rule. And someone special wants to meet with you. President Abraham Lincoln! And President Lincoln is like, Clara Barton, you did such a good job at the Battle of Antietam. You need to be the head of the office. Lincoln is drunk, but what he means is, Clara Barton, you need to be the head of the Office of Missing Soldiers. She's like, I will. I super will. And so she finds over 22,000 soldiers. President Lincoln is like, bitch is on fire. And then they kiss. Just kidding, they never kissed. And in 1878, Clara Barton started the American chapter of the Red Cross. Clara Barton is like, I am the founder of the American Red Cross. Plus, I'm the angel of the battlefield. I f***ing changed America itself. I win. And everyone is like, you do win. Then.
That was great.
Thanks, Clara.
You want some water? Real quick?
No,
Okay.
water's for pussies.
Hello. I'm Rachel Bloom, and today we're going to talk about the capture of Adolf Eichmann. So, Israel's established in 1948, and Israel's like, okay, we need our own CIA. And so they form the Mossad. And David Ben-Gurion, who's the prime minister, is like, I'm going to appoint you, Izhar Harel, to be head of Mossad. And Izhar Harel is like, awesome. We're gonna hunt down Nazi war criminals, because there are a lot of Nazis still like chilling. And the guy at the top of their list is Adolf Eichmann, who literally planned the Holocaust. So Izhar Harel is like, let's nail this fucking motherfucker to the wall like a fucking moose who's been hunted. Meanwhile, Adolf Eichmann is living in Argentina, making like a new alias. He's like, what's an Argentinian sounding name? Oh, I know, Ricardo Clement. Good job, Adolf. I mean, Ricardo, wink. However, his kids who are there with him, they're like, well, I'm really attached to Eichmann. It's like in all my yearbooks, like I'm gonna keep it. So the Eichmann kids are f***ing stupid. Okay. So, in the 1950s, Eichmann's son Klaus starts dating this very nice girl, Sylvia. And she's like, Daddy, I'm dating like the best guy. His name is Klaus Eichmann. And he's like, that's weird. My dog loves licking her My dog licks her vagina more than any dog.
That's cool.
Anyway, so Sylvia's father, Lothar Hermann, is like, Eichmann, where have I heard that name? And so Lothar tips off the Mossad. And he's like, my daughter's dating a guy named Klaus Eichmann. Like, this might be Adolf Eichmann. This might be the son of Adolf Eichmann. And the Mossad is like, we need to check this guy out. And so they send operatives to Argentina, all of whom are Holocaust survivors. And they're like, you need to take pictures of Eichmann to make sure this is Eichmann, so that we're not just like capturing some poor Argentinian dude.
Smart.
Okay, so, no!
What are you looking for?
My water went under the couch.
I got you. Got.
Thanks, friend. So they send a guy who just kind of walks up to him while he's gardening, and they're like, tell us how you garden. And he's like, well, and he like starts to explain gardening to them. And the whole time they have a suitcase that has like a spy camera in it. So they're like, and he's like, what's that sound? And they're like, nothing. So they send the pictures back to Israel, and the Mossad is like, dudes, this is Eichmann. Let's get him there. But Harel's like, whoa, Argentina's really bad about extraditing Nazis. They like don't give a shit for some reason. I don't know why. But they're just bad about it. And he tells Viharoni, if we're gonna capture Adolf Eichmann, we're gonna have to like fool and kidnap him, like a kid on a milk carton. We're gonna have to milk carton Adolf Eichmann. So the four operatives, they go to Argentina. It's weird to tell a story about Nazis and be so cozy. Anyway, they park a deserted car to lure Eichmann. And they're like, hey guys, so to distract ourselves, we need to come up with a group name. How about the Kidnapping Friends? And one of them's like, no, okay, if we're gonna come up with names, now's not the time to do it, but if we're going to, I think it should be called the Abduction Posse. And another one's like, no, listen, how about, I don't know, the Snatch Squad? And they're like, Snatch Squad! And just then, that's when Eichmann walks down the road. And they're like, our car is broken down. Psych, it's not! And they tackle Eichmann. They just like full on like bum rush Eichmann and they get him in the car. And my dog continues to lick her own.
I'll be done.
I want to do the rest of the story lying down.
You do it. You do it the way you want.
So they bring him to a safe house. And then they try to question him to make sure it's Adolf Eichmann living in Germany, Argentina. And Eichmann's like, hola. Me llamo Ricardo Clement. Like he's pretending to be Argentinian. They're just like, clearly not. You are a pasty white German dude. And finally, he drops all the shit. And he's like, all right, I'm Adolf Eichmann. Can I get a glass of wine? And they're like, okay, there's a plane leaving from Buenos Aires to Israel. How do we sneak Eichmann onto this plane? So May 20th, 1960, they sedate Adolf Eichmann. They dress him up as an El Al flight attendant, which is the Israeli airline. And they literally like drag him to the airport. Like full on Weekend at Bernie's Zing, the orchestrator of like the worst thing that's ever happened in their lives. And just being like, oh, I'm tired, hello, I'm an El Al flight attendant. And they're literally carrying him like onto the plane. I mean, like the story's fucking insane. So they get him in Israel and they put Eichmann on trial and he's convicted and he's hung outside of Tel Aviv.
Wow.
And the guys who captured him are like, look, far be it for we to celebrate death, but also, yeah.
The Nazi.
The Nazis, man. I'm alive. I'm 97.4 Ashkenaz.